I'm going to show you how to make a fast stencil for making a fabric print using the sewing machine. This is my stencil. It's made of freezer paper, and this stencil made this design. This little sailboat stencil made this design. These two flowers were made from this stencil. And the stencil made these designs. And then I actually used this to make a stamp mark on there as well. What you need for this project is a sewing machine that you can either put the feed dogs down or you can cover them with something, and a darning foot, a free motion quilting situation. You don't have to use a foot. I don't, but it might be safer to use a foot. It's up to you. Freezer paper, a black felt tip marker, something to make a drawing with or to copy or trace a drawing. And that's pretty much a piece of fabric to make the print on, or several pieces. It's really neat to use this if you want to make the same block within a quilt to maybe quilt around to make personalize it a little bit more. So to start with, I'm going to use this bigger piece. I cut 4 pieces of freezer paper, and this is about 8.5 by 9.5. And you can make them smaller. Many of mine are smaller. But this is the size I'll be using right this minute. And you want to take a drawing of some sort. I just drew this really quickly, a palm tree, and sketched it at first and then went over it. So then once I've drawn it, I take one of those pieces of freezer paper and I lay it over the drawing and I trace it with the marker so it's permanent. Then I take the other pieces of freezer paper over to an iron, a hot iron, and I sandwich all 3 together so that the shiny side is inside. The back is not the shiny side anymore. They're all sandwiched together, so it makes it kind of stiff. You could do this on cardstock, but I prefer to do it on freezer paper because it has the waxy, a little bit of protection. I can use it more times for stenciling. So I'm going to take that to the ironing board now, and I'm going to just iron this down. Okay. I've already sandwiched my 3 pieces together, and now I'll sandwich my 4th, the one with the drawing, the really hot iron. And it may curl, and that's no big deal. You can kind of bend it back. And that's the difference. If you use cardstock, you won't have the bending, but it may not last as long. So just give it pressure, and when you feel like it's nice and adhered, it's good to go. And you let it cool for a few seconds so you don't burn your hands. And then I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine. Okay, so I'm at my sewing machine, and I have taken the foot off. I have just a needle here, and this is dangerous. You have to be really cautious. I've also decided to cover my machine, which is set down in my table, with a piece of contact paper just for this project. I won't leave it on too long, so that my stencil, when I'm sliding it back and forth, won't get caught on the edge of the table, which is what it was doing. You can leave a darning foot on just as if you were doing free motion, and that might make you feel safer. I just don't care to have it on there. I'm going to set my machine my machine has a speed control. I'm going to set it pretty high, and I'm going to put my needle down, and all I'm going to do is follow the lines, and it doesn't have to be exact. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew. This is when it's good, just small stitches. And I want to just get myself back in position before I go again. And if the paper starts to hit, I'm just going to, well, you can rotate it. You can do just about anything. I'm going to turn my speed up a little bit higher. And I don't have to be right on the lines. It'll be fine. In fact, while I'm doing it, if I think, oh, my drawing wasn't so great right there, I can just sort of redraw it. So what I'm doing is just perforating it. I want to make sure that needle is totally stopped before I get my hands anywhere near it. Raise it up, and then I'm going to just pop that out. There is a little teeny bit of perforation edge. That's not a problem at all. You can rub it smooth if you want to, but I don't find it to be a problem. Once I stencil, I'm probably going to sew on those lines anyway if I decide to quilt it, which is what I would do. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing with the rest of this piece. So my stencil is all cut out, and this one, because it was very thin, it did tear a little, so I went ahead and used a little thin narrow masking tape. And this is used, as you can see. But what I would do, I have a little cushy surface here. This is just some kind of floor insulation, but anything that, even a pad, a little bit of fabrics, but remember the paint may go through your fabric, so you want to be careful what surface you have it on. I just use this, it's a little bit waterproof and it works well. Your stencil will work better if you have a cushioned surface underneath it. I'm going to just lay my design down on the fabric wherever I want, and I'm going to stencil, and I will show you on here. I already have it done, but I'll go ahead and demonstrate a little. I load up a stencil brush and then take most of the paint out of it. And if you want to cover a piece, you can take another piece of paper and just mask where you don't want the paint to go, but I'm just going to put my finger here for right now. And it'll start out heavier. This, I did not probably leave enough paint, and it depends on how hard you pounce, how hard you push down on it. And if I want maybe half of it to be another color, I'm going off the edge because this is just for demo. If I want to maybe make this brown or a darker green or a lighter green, I have the opportunity to do that after I've do one color and then do another. So that shows you a little bit. And this is what I got from that stencil. So I hope that this was an idea you haven't tried and that you'd like to try. It's really fun to make a fast design, and then I could make blocks for a quilt just out of my own personalized stencil. This is Anne from Fiber Designs by Anne. Thanks for watching.